Hello from our side. We are students from Vienna University of Technology. My name is Simona Đurović. Next to me is Anđela Kovačević, and our online team member is Milana Vasić. Our guiding professor is Mladen Jatrić. We'd like to briefly introduce you to our concept and our project proposal, which is dealing with one very important building in Vienna, its landmark, Karl Court. The following slide shows the geographical position of Karl Court. This is the site plan of Vienna. The next diagram shows a close-up view. Karl Court is situated in Heiligenstadt, a neighborhood in the 19th century of Vienna. The third diagram shows its position. Next to it there is a tram station. It spans 4 tram stations due to the building length of 1 kilometer, or exactly said 1.68 miles. We would like to briefly introduce you to the historical background of Karl Court. Facts about it. It's one of the best-known Gemeindebauten, which is municipal housing complexes in Vienna. It's one of the longest single residential buildings in the world, at over 1 kilometer in length, and it spans 4 tram stops. It was built between 1927 and 1930 by city planner Karl, a follower of famous Viennese architect Otto Wagner, who built a lot of important buildings in the late 19th century. It's designed as an example of monumental superblock. Its establishment had a symbolic character of Social Democracy Party of Vienna, the so-called Red Vienna or Rote Wien. It's named after Karl Marx, philosopher and theorist of communism, and it held 1,382 apartments with a size of 30 to 60 square meters each. So only 18.5% of the huge area of 156,000 square meters was built up, with the rest area being developed into play areas, gardens, and green spaces. And these places were for gathering and also to ensure a sense of belonging and identity of the community. The premises also included many community facilities, including laundromats, baths, kindergartens, library, doctor offices, and business offices as well, which was a very high standard for that period of time. However, although the complex was primarily designed according to the needs of its inhabitants, the time changes, and we have noticed few disadvantages when it comes to dealing with new parameters. So the main problems are deficiency of balconies. So the initial design of the building did not foresee balconies for everybody, so therefore we have a problem with natural ventilation. Then natural light problem, so due to the small windows and due to the construction of the 30s. Then the next point is small apartments, so usually 30 to 60 square meters for usually big families. Then lack of rooftops due to the design of the building, and lack of social activities in the courtyard. We have as well made a SWOT analysis of Karl Court in order to analyze the current condition after the COVID-19 pandemic. So we try to both identify the problems and to think of SWOT analysis. So S stands for strengths, W stands for weaknesses, O stands for opportunities, and T stands for threats. So we see a huge strength of this complex, its big green areas, so the courtyard. We see its weakness of linear way of the movement due when we think of safety measures and social distancing measures. We see a big opportunity of the courtyard as a social meeting point, and we see a threat of maintaining social distance measures. So the question is how to find a new sustainable strategy for this complex of the building, and how to design spatial interventions according to the safety measures. We have noticed the big advantage of having such a big courtyard that allows many new interventions. So we would like to propose several spatial interventions, design proposals in accordance with new parameters and safety measures. We want to think in the future and to adapt this building without destroying its architectural heritage. We want to strengthen the sense of the belonging and identity of the community, as this was as well the initial concept of the building. So here we have defined our goals, our pros and cons, and our vision of the project proposal. So the goals are to raise awareness, to strengthen the sense of belonging and identity, to maintain and keep going the social life of Karl Court after COVID-19 pandemic, Then we want to propose spatial interventions and to design with new parameters according to social distance measures. We want to adapt the place to the new realities, and we want to rethink the outdoor space that encourages social distancing of the inhabitants. However, for our vision and for our project strategy, we have both pros and both cons. So we want to revitalize the space, but then we have a fear of gentrification. We want to revive outdoor space, but then still there is a possibility of infection. We want to think of new social activities, but then still there could be a privacy disturbance. And we want to develop it for the future scenarios, but again, it could be too drastic. So our vision of the courtyard of Karl Marx Court is for area to be integrated and vibrant, active, protected and maintained, and as well to have the potential for the future development.
We have defined two types of spaces, public space in the middle of the complex and semi-public space for the residents. Depending on the spatial division, different functions are distributed in the Karl Marx court. The middle part of the court includes public gatherings such as cafes, cultural events, picnics. Semi-public space is more attended for residents and is therefore subordinated to such functions: urban gardening, urban farming, outdoor activities, children playgrounds. The onset of social distancing requires unique solutions to enable these spaces to function and everyday business to be undertaken. Diverse program functions to retain the sense of belonging and identity of the community. According to social distance measures, these spatial interventions will increase the social interaction between people, especially its residents. Urban gardening and farming are good for mental health. In addition to producing food, it gives some freedom from a daily routine. Visual guidelines for social distancing in the outdoor spaces will raise awareness and encourage people to feel more related to nature. It will encourage people to turn more to a healthier lifestyle by spending time outside doing different activities. On the following slide, you can see the detailed plan and the position of the discussed activities. Our vision. In the future, Karl Marx court will become an adapted, integrated, vibrating area with various social activities for both residents and people of Vienna, with predetermined social distance measures. Values will change, our lives and habits will change, and our homes will also change under that influence. With that in mind, we propose these scenarios to maintain and to keep the social life going on after COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you for your attention.